So I've just wrapped up working on the Kratos, the kit that Games Workshop just released back in mid-June. I've still got the weathering to do, but what I like to do is just go ahead and take some images of the model prior to doing that weathering. It's always gonna, obscure a little bit of detail. I figured I might as well do it on video since there isn't a whole lot of content on this tank up, on the website at the moment. This kit's taken me a good couple months to paint. The majority of it has been spent on just kind of the base coats. There's been some detail work done. My style of painting is very time intensive, so that's kind of why it has taken me a little bit longer than it would some folks. Very, very happy with the construction and the value, if I'm honest, with the tank. Considering, what Games Workshop will normally give you for $100 or so, 260 points of a major centerpiece model is not that bad of a deal. So as far as assembly goes, very good kit. The dozer blade is a bit of a pain in the butt to build, but that's kind of well known. As far as seams go, the seams are much, much, much easier to work with than your standard, Rhino or Land Raider kit. The only seams that really gave me any trouble were up here. This spot right here tended to separate a little bit, and I never really got it 100% where I wanted it. You can see right here, it's kind of the same issue. That seam right there, a little bit tough, and over towards the front of the tank, towards the, where the chases connects with the tracks, this right here, I'd like to separate a little bit, but I was able to get that taken care of a lot easier. Compared to working with a standard Rhino or Land Raider, very, very good assembly, very happy with it. As far as the painting goes, I use primarily Privateer Press for the solids, and then I use Scale 75 and Vallejo for the metallics. Vallejo we're going to use for more of the, kind of the silver, steel, aluminum colors. And then the coppers, the bronzes, the kind of tinted metals, those are going to be Scale 75. One more thing to mention on the assembly, the turrets for Horus Heresy models are way better than, say, the Predator in the standard 40K set. If you are starting a new project for Marines and you want a Predator for whatever reason in 40K, I would say just get the Horus Heresy one. P3 used to be really, really good. Their quality control has fallen off. The company's kind of struggled in a little bit. Troll Blood is the primary color I use mixed up into Frostbite for highlights. The highest stage highlights are probably about 75% Frostbite. That color covers very well. The Coal Black is a great color that I use for kind of the metallic, the weapon parts that I don't want to be a true metallic. Jack Bone is a completely different story. It separates like basically instantly if you put it on any sort of palette. You'll get purples, you'll get yellows. I wish I could find a replacement for this color, but nothing looks quite like it. So I just basically have to be very patient, and we're talking 5 to 7 coats in some cases. The Jack Bone's highlighted up with Menoth White, which is a great color. Covers a lot better. As far as the freehand goes, I will say that people tend to overthink freehand. What I would do if you are intimidated by freehand is just to go ahead and give it a shot. At the end of the day, there's a lot more to what you think freehand is to what it actually is. If you spend a little bit of time and you just kind of work with pen and paper to start out with, you get kind of a good feel for the scale of what you want. It's going to be a lot easier, particularly, if you're painting and you're using the right kind of, thin down paints. You're going to be able to fill in mistakes, fill in overages. You're going to be able to correct things. So I like to put a little bit of freehand on things, and I don't want it to make too much sense because I figure the folks that we're dealing with are 38,000 years in the future. They probably don't have the same rationale or thought process as we do. A little double-headed hair in there is kind of a nod to the Aquila. I use Cyrillic on my models. Originally, it was just because I thought it looked cool when I was taking Russian at the time. I do not speak Russian at anything other than the most basic conversational level. I can order food off a menu. I can say hi to somebody. That's about it. So the lore that I have is that they use kind of a pidgin Russian. They don't really understand it all that well either. That way, if somebody calls me out for filling in the blanks with Google Translate, then I can just say, well, I mean, they don't really speak it fluently either. Name of the tank is Chungus. This roughly translates to, "Oh Lord, he's coming." Normally don't translate these and just kind of let them be an inside joke for people who can read it. But since this is going on YouTube, I want people to know that I'm not saying things I shouldn't be saying. Again, very happy with the model. The dozer blade looks a little bit weird in photos. I've seen a lot of people complain about it. I like it, kind of in motion. In photos, it does kind of distract you with this gigantic open area here. Again, overall, though, I'm extremely happy with this model. I'm extremely happy with how it turned out. It's kind of a big centerpiece model. Don't think I'll use it too often in games just because, A, I don't play that much to begin with, and B, it's not a great kit from a rules perspective. It's not bad. It's not great. Tanks in general in 9th at this point are kind of a liability for Marines, unfortunately. Tanks are basically my favorite thing. I'm going to do a quick overhead shot, and then I'll put it in the display case and give you a quick pan over of the entire, kind of chapter that I've been working on. Excuse the shaky cam, I just don't want to crush anything. So yeah, this is the entire range. I've been working on this project off and on since about 2008. There was a big gap, about a 3 or 4 year gap where I was overseas and wasn't painting. But started it up again shortly thereafter, almost more as a sunk cost fallacy as anything else. It's hard to drop a habit when you get good at it. And 12-year-old me would have loved to be able to paint like this, and probably would have gotten a lot more games in. Overall, as far as the range goes for me, I'm nearly done with the small Marine stuff. I've got a Land Raider. I've got another Land Speeder in there somewhere that I'm planning on painting. I've got a Storm Raven that I'm planning on painting, and I've got about 4 or 5 more tactical Marines to get through. Other than that, maybe the occasional specialty model. The Primaris range I've more or less just started on, so that's going to be the focus for a while. I don't think this project is ever going to be something that I really consider done. So there it is. That's the collection there. I do want to emphasize that I really like this kit, and I do think it's a decent value, like I said earlier, as far as Space Marine stuff goes. You've got some kits in here where you're spending $70 or $80 for 100 points, and then you've got this kit where you're spending about $110 without a discount for 260 points. So value for a point is hard to beat. I don't know how often you'd actually use it, and I'm not planning on using it all that much either, but it really does look good. Thanks for your time, everyone. Hope you all have a good day.